I've been handed the keys of a 2009 Porsche Cayman, and I have 1 mile to drive it and tell you what I think. For those who've watched one of our more recent 1 mile reviews, there was a 2007 Porsche Cayman with a 5-speed manual. Well, this is also a base Cayman, but it's a 2009 model. And there were a few things, major things that were done to the car. The Porsche changed when it went to the what is called 987.2 generation. The biggest thing you'll want to know is that the engine, instead of being a 2.7 liter, is a 2.9 liter, water-cooled flat six. And unlike all the other 2009 Caymans, Cayman S, or later like the Cayman R or any of the 911s of the era, it had port injection, not direct fuel injection, which is the way all other flat sixes from this model year went. The 2.9 liter has 265 horsepower, so a bit more than the 987.1 base engine, and it should be enough to get this car moving a little bit faster. At first glance, it may not look like it's had modifications done, but it's actually had several key modifications done to the suspension and the interior. Instead of going the coilover route or buying a set of aftermarket springs or anything like that, what this owner did, he took the springs from a base Cayman with PASM, which is Porsche's active suspension system with the active shocks and everything, and he swapped these onto this non-PASM Cayman. And what that does, interestingly enough, is lower the car by about 20 millimeters. It also has Bilstein shocks that are meant for the Cayman R, and it also has Cayman R alignment specs. With a little bit more aggressive suspension, lowered a bit, it should be a little bit more fun to drive than a truly stock base Cayman. I'm gonna get into the car and take it for a 1 mile drive, and let's see what I think.
Be sure to log into your YouTube account, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a video. Best of all, it's free to do so.
All right, so this is a car that feels immediately familiar to me since I own one very much like it, but it's a bit nicer. This car, as I was mentioning, some of the interior mods, has a aftermarket shift knob that is looks like something from a 917, a race car from the 70s. It has an aftermarket infotainment system, which I might consider that for my car. It looks pretty neat. And the owner did have the steering wheel rewrapped. It's a little bit thicker and has newer leather, which feels very nice in my hands. And I can tell that there is a pedal set here, which should make it a little bit easier to heel-toe downshift and keep my feet on the pedals. So yes, this is a very easy clutch, easy car to drive, just off the clutch. And I can already tell in stop and go traffic it would be fine. So yeah, the main thing about this car is the engine, which it's that 2.9 liter. There's no intermediate shaft, so there's no problematic intermediate shaft bearing, which is good for people who have heard all the horror stories of the IMS bearing failing in their Cayman or Boxster or 911 of that era. So the suspension, which is those PASM springs from a base Cayman put onto this non-PASM Cayman, feels very nice. It has a very stock feeling to it. Car tracks nice and straight. I do like the wheel. The steering wheel feels nice in my hands. I'm not sure if I would wrap it this size or not, because I am actually partial to the thinner rim steering wheel in my car, but I would definitely consider going thicker if I decide to rewrap my steering wheel. This is very nice. Yep, just went over a little bump there, soaked it up very well, but you can feel it, which is important. Yeah, 3,000 RPM on the gas. Definitely feels a little more strong and torquey than the 2.7 liter. Now into second gear. You know, this engine feels smoother than the M97 and the 987.1 Caymans. It definitely feels smoother. I don't know if I would say it's revier, but it definitely doesn't have that rough edge that an M97 has. Really easy to blip the throttle. We're here behind kind of a car going very slowly. So I'll take this moment to talk about the seats. These seats will not be exactly what you want for very sporting driving on the track or anything, but they are supportive. There is some side bolstering here, and they're very comfortable, so this would do well on road trips and daily driving. So we're already at a turn-in area, and hopefully, oh yep, the 6-gear reverse is past first gear up and to the left. A little bit different from the 5-speed. Porsche did not offer a 5-speed manual for the 987.2, so you're stuck with the 6-speed no matter what. All right, 2nd gear, full throttle. Yeah, no, it's definitely very nice car, easy to heel toe in. That was the first time I tried that, and I feel like I got it pretty straight on. 2nd gear again. Yeah, it definitely revs very easily, and you know, it's not a super noticeable difference in power compared to the 2.7. What I would say is that the engine feels different. It's just smoother, not as rough, which is, I think, a good thing because your focus is less on the engine when you don't want to focus on it. You can just focus on driving around the corners and whatnot. Yeah, so coming through this little turn here, very nice. Yeah, you can tell, very stock feeling suspension, which is nice. You know, the trade-off with going with coilovers or something super stiff that isn't factory is that you have a worse ride. You know, compliancy is one thing, but no matter how compliant a suspension, if it's too stiff, it's too stiff. I can already tell this would be a nice car to daily drive and road trip in. So for our rating system, we have 3 categories, and I'm going to start out with our first, which is car show. A 2009 Cayman, not the most common car. They were building fewer of these than just a couple years earlier due to the recession at the time. So already, a 987.2 Cayman is a rarer car than a 987.1. It's also guards red. You don't see too many guards red cars from this era, especially Caymans. You know, it's something that you usually see a car in silver, something that doesn't stand out all that much. And in guards red, it definitely stands out and looks cool. It looks like a stock base Cayman, maybe a bit lower because of the lowering springs, the non-PASM or the PASM springs on this car, but it doesn't look slammed. So it looks like a fairly stock Cayman. At a car show, because of the color, you know, I think it would do a bit better than other Caymans that are a more subdued color. So I'm gonna give this a 6 for a car show, purely because, yeah, it's a fairly common car as far as Porsches are, but it's a little bit rare because of the time it was built, but also because it's guards red. Just very cool color. Our second category is daily driving. Now, a stock Porsche usually is a very good daily driver, and it's usually what owners do to take it unstock, you know, do modifications to it that makes it into not such a great daily driver. Fortunately, because this owner used Porsche parts, it still feels like an OEM car. It's very comfortable. I think it would be very easy to daily drive. It gets pretty good fuel economy. And I already know from experience that the front, the frunk and the rear trunk offer plenty of storage space for whatever you might need, from backpacks, suitcases, camera equipment even. I'm gonna give this a 7.5 for daily driving. Our last category is road trip. And this car would do very well on a road trip. And this is a stock, mostly stock Cayman with Porsche factory parts in its suspension. It'll be super comfortable. You can fit suitcases, bags, and have one other person, your significant other, or a good friend sitting next to you the whole time, and you can drive all day in this car. I'm gonna give this an 8.5 out of 10 because it's definitely at least half a point better than my base Cayman at road tripping. So there you have it. There's my ratings for this 2009 Cayman in this 1 mile review. Leave a comment if you do agree or don't agree with my assessment of this Cayman. And if you like content like this, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell so you won't miss any notifications if a new one of our videos come out. Thanks guys, bye-bye.